Have you ever walked through your neighborhood on a cool October night, hearing laughter, seeing glowing pumpkins, and smelling sweet candy in the air? That's the magic of Halloween. But have you ever wondered where this strange and exciting celebration really came from? Today we're going to travel back in time, learn how Halloween began, and of course, improve your English along the way. So, are you ready? Let's begin this journey together. Before we go into the story, repeat after me. Halloween is not just about costumes. It's a story of history, fear, and fun. Good. Now let's learn how it all started. A long time ago, more than 2,000 years in the past, there lived a group of people called the Celts. They lived in what is now Ireland, the United Kingdom, and parts of northern France. The Celts were farmers, and their lives followed the rhythm of nature, planting in spring, harvesting in autumn, and surviving through the cold winter. For them, the end of October was very important because it was the end of harvest season and the beginning of winter. They celebrated this time with a festival called Samhain. Can you repeat that word? Samhain, spelled S-A-M-H-A-I-N. Excellent! The Celts believed that on the night before the New Year, which they celebrated on November 1st, the boundary between the living and the dead became very thin. On that night, they thought spirits could walk on earth. Some spirits were kind, bringing luck and blessings, but others were not so kind. They could cause trouble, destroy crops, or scare people. So what did the Celts do? They made huge bonfires to protect themselves, wore animal skins as costumes to hide from the spirits, and offered food to please them. Doesn't that sound familiar? Costumes, fire, food, those ideas still exist in modern Halloween today. Pause for a moment and think. If you lived in that time, would you be brave enough to go outside on the night of Samhain? Or would you stay close to the fire with your family? Try answering in English. This is your listening and speaking practice moment. Maybe you said, I would stay inside, or I would go outside to see the ghosts. Either answer is great. You're learning to think and speak in English naturally, and that's exactly what this lesson is about. Now, let's move a little forward in time. Around the year 43 A.D., the Roman Empire conquered many Celtic lands. The Romans had their own traditions, and over time their festivals mixed with the Celtic Samhain celebration. One Roman festival was called Feralia, a day to honor the dead. Another was a day to celebrate Pomona, the goddess of fruits and trees. The symbol of Pomona was an apple. Does that sound familiar? Yes, that's why even today people play games like bobbing for apples at Halloween parties. The mix of these traditions helped shape what Halloween would later become. So we've gone from the Celts and their bonfires to the Romans with their apples and spirits. But where did the name Halloween come from? Let's explore that. Many centuries later, Christianity spread across Europe. The church wanted to replace old pagan festivals with Christian holidays. So, in the year 609 A.D., Pope Boniface IV created a day to honor all saints, called All Saints' Day. Later, another pope changed its date to November 1st. The evening before All Saints' Day was called All Hallows' Eve. The word hallow means holy or saint. Over time, people started saying All Hallows' Eve faster and shorter, and it eventually became Halloween. Isn't language fascinating? Words change shape, sound, and meaning over time, just like people and traditions. Repeat after me, All Hallows' Eve became Halloween. Very good. Try it again, slowly. All Hallows' Eve became Halloween. Excellent pronunciation. You're improving your fluency, one sentence at a time. Now let's make this lesson more interactive. I'll ask you a few simple questions, and you can answer them aloud to practice. Question 1, who were the Celts? Answer. The Celts were ancient people who lived in Ireland and parts of Europe. Question 2, what was their festival called? Answer, it was called Samhain. Question 3, why did they wear costumes? Answer: to hide from the spirits. Perfect. You're doing great. Every time you repeat and respond, you train your mouth and brain to think in English faster. That's how fluency is built, through repetition, rhythm, and curiosity. Now, let's move our time machine once again. After many centuries, people in Europe kept celebrating All Hallows' Eve with bonfires, games, and food. But when European immigrants came to North America, especially the Irish, they brought their traditions with them. However, things began to change. In America, Halloween slowly became less about spirits and more about community, fun, and creativity. Let's imagine for a moment you're one of those Irish immigrants in the 1800s, arriving in the United States. You've left your homeland behind, but you carry your memories and traditions in your heart. You teach your children about the old festivals, about Samhain and All Hallows' Eve. And your neighbors, people from other countries, join in the fun. Over time, new customs are added: pumpkin carving, costume parties, and the famous phrase, trick or treat. But wait, pumpkins? Where did they come from? Originally in Ireland and Scotland, people used to carve turnips or potatoes to make lanterns. They placed candles inside them to keep away evil spirits. When they arrived in America, they found pumpkins, big, bright, and easy to carve. So pumpkins became the new favorite, and that's how the jack-o'-lantern was born. Repeat after me. A pumpkin is not just a vegetable, it's a Halloween symbol. Very good. Again, a pumpkin is not just a vegetable, it's a Halloween symbol. Fantastic. The more you speak, the more confident you become. Now let's take a moment to reflect. Why do people love Halloween so much? Maybe it's because it lets us face our fears, ghosts, darkness, death, but in a fun, playful way. Maybe it's because it connects us to ancient people who looked at the same moon, felt the same wind, and believed that the world of the living and the dead could meet for one special night. Or maybe it's because we all love a little bit of mystery, don't we? Halloween reminds us that life and death are part of the same story, and that courage and curiosity can turn fear into celebration. Just like learning English. At first, you might feel shy, nervous, or even scared of making mistakes. But as you keep practicing, you realize something powerful. Mistakes are not ghosts to be afraid of. They are teachers guiding you toward fluency. So, repeat after me. I am not afraid of mistakes. I am learning, growing, and improving. Excellent. That's the real spirit of both Halloween and English learning. Bravery and transformation. Before we end this first part, let's review what we learned. Halloween started with the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. It mixed with Roman and Christian traditions. Its name came from All Hallows' Eve. Immigrants brought it to America, where it became the fun, creative holiday we know today. And along the way, it taught us something deeper, that change, like language, can be magical. You've just learned the ancient roots of Halloween, practiced your English, and built your confidence. In the next section, we'll explore how Halloween traditions grew in America, from ghost stories to candy, from spooky decorations to Hollywood movies. You'll also learn new expressions and vocabulary that will make your English sound natural and fluent. But before we move on, take a deep breath and say proudly, I am becoming fluent in English. Beautiful! You're doing amazing work. So now you know how Halloween began, from ancient Celtic fires to Roman apples, from Christian saints to glowing pumpkins. But how did this mysterious and spiritual night become the joyful, colorful celebration we see today, filled with candy, costumes, and laughter? That's exactly what we're going to explore next. And as we do, you'll keep learning natural English expressions, new vocabulary, and the rhythm of confident speaking. Ready? Let's begin. When the Irish and Scottish people brought Halloween to North America in the 1800s, it wasn't the same holiday we know today. Back then, it was mostly a quiet night to remember the dead, tell ghost stories, and maybe light a candle inside a carved turnip or pumpkin. Children didn't go door to door yet, and there were no plastic spiders or scary decorations. But little by little, people began to add fun to the fear. Communities held parties, neighbors shared food, and children played tricks on each other. The word trick means a playful action, something you do to surprise or tease someone. And treat means a small gift or something nice, often candy. So when we say trick or treat, it's like asking, do you want to give me something sweet or should I play a trick on you? This phrase became one of the most famous lines of modern English culture. Repeat after me. Trick or treat. Louder. Trick or treat. Great job. You sound just like a Halloween visitor. By the early 1900s, Halloween was becoming a social celebration in the United States. Schools and towns started to organize costume parades, games, and dances. Newspapers printed ideas for homemade costumes, witches, ghosts, pirates, and funny clowns. People used paper, cloth, and imagination to make them. There were no big stores full of ready-made costumes yet. It was a creative time. Families made popcorn balls, baked pumpkin pies, and told scary stories by candlelight. But not everything was peaceful. In some towns, teenagers used Halloween as an excuse to play pranks, breaking fences, stealing gates, or soaping windows. Communities wanted to control the mischief, so they encouraged children to go door to door asking for treats instead of causing trouble. Let's practice speaking again. Repeat. Halloween brings people together. Again, Halloween brings people together. Excellent. You're not only learning about culture, you're learning how to express feelings in English. Now, let's move into the mid-1900s. After World War II, something sweet happened. Literally. Sugar was no longer rationed, and candy companies saw an opportunity. They started producing small, individually wrapped sweets just for Halloween. Advertisements appeared everywhere. Colorful posters, radio jingles, and later TV commercials. Candy corn, chocolate bars, and lollipops became symbols of the season. That's when Halloween started to become a commercial holiday, but still full of charm. Vocabulary time. Repeat these new words. Ration. To limit something during a shortage. Advertisement. A message that promotes a product. Commercial. Something made to sell, not just to celebrate. Perfect. You're learning real English words used in daily life. By the 1950s, Halloween had become a family event. Suburban neighborhoods were growing fast, and parents wanted safe fun for their children. Schools hosted costume contests, television shows aired spooky cartoons, and magazines shared pumpkin carving guides. Even Hollywood joined in. Movies like House on Haunted Hill, 1959, and Psycho, 1960, brought fear to the big screen, and people loved it. For the first time, Halloween became not just a children's night, but a cultural event for everyone. Now say this. Halloween is more than candy. It's culture. Very good. Try again with more emotion. Halloween is more than candy. It's culture. Fantastic. Let's pause for a mini story. There was a small town in Illinois that called itself the pumpkin capital of the world. Every year, people came from all over to join the pumpkin festival. There were contests for the biggest pumpkin, the most creative carving, and even pumpkin races. One year, a farmer grew a pumpkin so large that it had to be moved with a crane. People cheered as it rolled down the street, bright orange under the autumn sun. That's how powerful traditions can be. They make communities proud and happy. Can you think of a festival in your country that brings people together like that? Try describing it in English. Say it aloud. In my country, we celebrate. This kind of speaking practice helps you connect new vocabulary with your own life. That's how you turn English from a subject into a living language. Now let's talk about how Halloween became global. Through American movies, music, and media, the holiday began to spread to other countries. Children in Canada, Australia, Japan, and even parts of Europe started dressing up and saying, "Trick or treat." In some places, people created their own versions, mixing Halloween with local customs. In Mexico, there's Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead, a colorful celebration to honor loved ones who have passed away. In Japan, Halloween parades fill the streets of Tokyo with lights and costumes. And in the UK, people still keep some of the old Celtic traditions alive with bonfires and storytelling. Repeat after me, traditions travel. Culture connects us all. Beautiful. You're improving not only your English, but also your understanding of the world. Now let's talk about symbols, because Halloween is full of them. The black cat, for example, was once believed to bring bad luck because people thought witches kept them as companions. The bat became a symbol because it often appeared near the fires of Samhain nights. And the spider? It represents mystery and patience, weaving its web quietly in the dark. Each of these symbols tells a story. Here's a short vocabulary exercise. Witch, a woman believed to have magical powers. Bat, a small flying animal that comes out at night. Spider, a creature that spins webs. Ghost, the spirit of a dead person. Jack-o'-lantern, a carved pumpkin with a light inside. Repeat them slowly. Excellent. You're doing amazing. You might be wondering, why do we love being scared? Why do people enjoy ghost stories and haunted houses? The answer is simple and powerful. When we face fear in a safe way, we feel brave. Halloween gives us a chance to play with fear, to laugh at it, and to understand it. It teaches us that fear doesn't have to control us. That's true for language learning, too. The fear of speaking English, of making mistakes, it's like a little ghost in your mind. But when you face it, you realize it's not so scary. It's just part of the adventure. Say this with me. I am not afraid to speak English. Again, I am not afraid to speak English. Excellent. That confidence is your magic power. By the late 1900s, Halloween became a global pop culture event. Movies like Halloween, Hocus Pocus, and The Nightmare Before Christmas made it even more popular. Pop stars dressed in spooky costumes, theme parks held Halloween nights, and social media turned it into a month-long celebration. From the smallest town to the biggest city, people dressed up as anything they wanted. Not just scary creatures, but superheroes, movie characters, or even funny memes. Halloween became a celebration of creativity. Let's finish this section with a little reflection. Halloween teaches us that the past never truly disappears. It transforms. Ancient bonfires became glowing pumpkins. Scary spirits became playful costumes. Old fears became shared laughter. And old languages, like the Celtic words of long ago, became part of the English we speak today. So the next time you hear someone say, "trick or treat," remember, you're hearing the echo of history. A history that started in mystery, traveled through time, and now lives in every smile, every costume, and every sweet candy shared. Repeat after me. History lives in our words. Language is a bridge through time. Perfect. You're speaking with confidence and meaning. You've now learned how Halloween grew, traveled, and became the celebration we know today. In the next section, we'll explore the deeper lessons hidden inside this holiday. Lessons about imagination, courage, creativity, and change. And of course, we'll keep learning beautiful English expressions to help you speak naturally and powerfully. Take a deep breath, smile, and say with me, I am learning, I am growing, I am unstoppable. Wonderful! You've learned how Halloween was born from ancient Celtic traditions, how it mixed with Roman and Christian customs, and how it traveled across the ocean to become one of the most loved celebrations in the world. But beyond pumpkins and candy, Halloween has something deeper to teach us about imagination, creativity, and the human spirit. Let's explore that together. Imagine it's a cool October evening. The sky is dark, the moon is shining, and laughter fills the air. You see children dressed as superheroes, witches, and movie characters running from house to house with bright smiles. Adults are decorating their homes, carving pumpkins, and preparing treats. On the surface, it looks like simple fun, but deep inside, something magical is happening. People are stepping into stories. They are pretending, dreaming, becoming something new, even if just for one night. That's what makes Halloween so special. It invites everyone to use their imagination. It tells us, you can be anyone you want to be. For one night, shy people become brave vampires, ordinary kids become wizards, and even serious adults wear funny costumes and laugh like children again. Halloween teaches us the joy of creativity. And creativity, my friend, is not only for artists, it's for everyone, especially for English learners like you. When you learn a language, you are also becoming someone new. You are learning to think, feel, and express yourself in a different way. Sometimes it feels strange or uncomfortable, just like wearing a costume for the first time. But then something changes. You realize that every new word gives you power, every new sentence gives you confidence, and every conversation opens a new door. That's the real magic of language. Repeat after me. English is my costume for the world. Beautiful. Again, English is my costume for the world. Excellent. Because when you speak English, you can travel, connect, dream, and share your ideas with millions of people. It's not just a skill. It's your key to new adventures. Now let's go back to Halloween. Did you know that storytelling has always been at the heart of this celebration? Long before movies and TV, people used to gather around fires and tell ghost stories. Some stories were scary, some were funny, and some taught lessons about life and courage. The point wasn't just to frighten people, it was to remind them that fear is part of being human. And when we share stories, we share our courage, too. One famous story often told on Halloween is about Jack-o'-lantern, the man who tricked the devil. The legend says that Jack was clever but greedy. One night he played tricks on the devil and made him promise not to take his soul. When Jack finally died, he wasn't allowed into heaven or hell, so he wandered the earth forever, carrying a burning coal inside a carved turnip to light his way. That's why we call those glowing pumpkins jack-o'-lanterns. They represent his wandering spirit. Isn't that fascinating? Now, let's turn that story into a mini English exercise. Repeat after me. Jack tricked the devil. He could not go to heaven or hell. He carried a lantern to light his way. Great job. You've just practiced storytelling in English. Short, clear, and expressive. Every time you tell a story, you become a better communicator. And Halloween reminds us how powerful stories are. They bring people together, they keep history alive, and they help us understand ourselves. So, here's a question for you. What story would you tell if you could create your own Halloween legend? Would it be scary, funny, or mysterious? Think about it and describe it aloud in English. That's your creative practice. Halloween is also a mirror. It shows us our fears and helps us face them. Some people fear darkness, others fear being alone, and many fear the unknown. But when we laugh at ghosts and dance in the dark, we learn that fear loses its power when we face it. Just like when you face the fear of speaking English in front of others. At first, your heart beats fast, your voice shakes, and your mind forgets words. But then you take a deep breath, you speak, and suddenly you realize the fear is gone. Say this with me. I face my fears with courage. Again, I face my fears with courage. Excellent. That sentence isn't just grammar, it's strength. You're growing stronger with every word. Now let's talk about another side of Halloween, kindness. Even though it's full of spooky fun, the heart of Halloween is about giving and sharing. People open their doors, smile at strangers, and give candy just to make someone happy. It's a night when generosity becomes tradition. Isn't that beautiful? It reminds us that community and kindness are stronger than fear. Vocabulary time. Repeat after me. Generosity, the act of giving and sharing. Community, people who live and care together. Tradition, something we do again and again to keep it alive. Perfect. You're expanding your vocabulary while learning culture. Now imagine this. A child knocks on your door and says, "Trick or treat." You smile, drop candy into their bag, and hear their laughter fade into the distance. In that small moment, you've shared joy. That's the spirit of Halloween. Small acts of kindness that light up the night. Let's connect that to English learning. Every time you help someone learn, correct a friend's mistake kindly, or share your favorite word, you're spreading light too. You're part of a global community of learners, people from every country, culture, and age, all connected by one goal: to communicate. Isn't that amazing? Language is the bridge that connects us, and every word you learn is a step across that bridge. Repeat after me. Language connects hearts. English connects the world. Wonderful. Keep saying these with confidence. Your voice matters. Now let's look at modern Halloween celebrations. Today, it's not just about one night. It's a whole season. People decorate their homes with pumpkins, lights, skeletons, and cobwebs. Coffee shops sell pumpkin spice drinks, and stores fill their shelves with costumes weeks in advance. Some people love the cute side of Halloween, friendly ghosts and funny pumpkins. Others love the scary side, haunted houses and horror movies. Either way, Halloween gives everyone a chance to celebrate their imagination. And speaking of imagination, let's practice descriptive English. Try saying this. The night was cold and full of laughter. Pumpkins glowed like tiny suns in the dark. Children ran through the streets with shining eyes. You see how beautiful English can sound when you play with imagery? It's like painting with words. Let's add a quick pronunciation challenge. Repeat slowly. Ghost, ghoul, goblin, graveyard, glowing. Nice. Now faster. Ghost, ghoul, goblin, graveyard, glowing. Excellent work. You're training your tongue and your confidence at the same time. Halloween also reminds us that change is natural. Trees lose their leaves, the air grows colder, and nature rests. But we know that spring will come again. That's why Halloween is often seen as a celebration of both endings and beginnings. The Celts believed that the year ended with Samhain, the death of the old, and began anew. Just like them, we can see every ending as a new start. Maybe your mistakes in English are not failures. They're just part of your transformation. Repeat after me. Every mistake is a new beginning. Again, every mistake is a new beginning. Beautiful! That's the real lesson of Halloween. Transformation. So as we look at this celebration through history, we can see that Halloween isn't just about ghosts and pumpkins. It's about courage, kindness, imagination, and the magic of change. It's a mirror of who we are, curious, creative, and brave. Before we end this section, let's summarize what we've learned. Halloween invites us to imagine and become something new. It teaches us to face our fears and find courage. It reminds us of generosity and community. And it celebrates change, the end of one season and the start of another. Just like Halloween, your English journey is full of transformation. Every new word is a light in the dark. Every new phrase is a small victory. And every time you speak, you bring your dreams closer to life. So take a deep breath and say with me, I am brave. I am learning. I am becoming fluent. Wonderful. You're doing amazing, truly. In the next section, we'll bring everything together. We'll explore the global meaning of Halloween today, how it continues to evolve, and what lessons it offers for our modern world and your English journey. The final part will leave you inspired, confident, and ready to shine in English and in life. But let's pause for a moment and think. What does Halloween teach us? Not just about ghosts and candies, but about life, about learning, and about who we are. You see, Halloween is more than just a night of costumes. It is a reflection of how humans face their fears. For thousands of years, people have used stories, masks, and rituals to deal with the unknown, with darkness, with death, and with change. And in a way, learning English is the same. When you started learning English, maybe you felt afraid. Afraid to make mistakes, afraid to speak, afraid that others might laugh. But remember, fear is natural. Even ancient people feared the dark. What made them brave was not the absence of fear, but the courage to walk into the night with a light in their hand. So tonight, if you ever feel afraid to speak English, imagine you're holding that same light. The light of knowledge, the light of practice, the light of progress. Every new word you learn is a candle in the dark. Every sentence you speak is a step forward. And every mistake you make, it's just a ghost passing by. Nothing to fear. Now let's go back to Halloween. After the 20th century, Halloween began to travel across the world. Movies, songs, and social media made it global. Countries that had never celebrated it before started to decorate their streets with pumpkins and lights. Kids from Japan, Brazil, and even Pakistan began to dress up and say, "Trick or treat." Isn't that amazing? A tradition born from ancient Celtic fires has now become a festival of creativity and connection for millions of people. But here's something many people don't notice. Halloween also became a story about identity. It allows people to express who they are or who they want to be, even if it's just for one night. A shy person can become a superhero. A quiet child can become a roaring dragon. A normal student can become a famous singer or a brave knight. For one night, people can wear their dreams on their faces. That's the magic of imagination. And it's also the magic of language. When you learn English, you are putting on a new costume, not to hide yourself, but to express another part of you. You are learning how to tell your story in a global language. You are learning how to connect with people from different cultures. And that is something beautiful. So next time you see a pumpkin glowing on Halloween night, think of it as a symbol of transformation. The pumpkin starts as an ordinary vegetable, but with a little creativity, it becomes something magical. A jack-o'-lantern shining with life. You too can transform your English that way. Start with simple words, shape them carefully. Add a light, your motivation, and watch your English glow. Now let's practice a few simple sentences together. Repeat after me. I am learning English every day. I am not afraid of mistakes. I am becoming more confident. Good. Let's try again with more feeling. I can speak English with power. I can tell my story. I am proud of my progress. Yes, that's it. Feel how your voice changes when you believe in your words. That's fluency, not perfection, but confidence. Now let's reflect on something interesting about Halloween vocabulary. When people say trick or treat, they are actually giving a playful choice. You can give me a treat, or I will play a trick. It's a small, funny threat, but it teaches us something deeper about communication. Even in simple words, culture lives. Treat means kindness, giving, and generosity. Trick means surprise, cleverness, or play. When you learn a new word, try to understand not just what it means, but what it feels like in English culture. That's how you move from translation to connection. Let's try a few Halloween words together. Costume, candy, pumpkin, ghost, spirit, lantern. Now, use them in your own short sentences. I wore a funny costume. I love sweet candy. I carved a pumpkin. I told a ghost story. I saw a bright lantern. Good job. Simple but full of meaning. Language is alive when you use it. So use your English, not just to study, but to live, to express, to share. Let's go back in time one last time, to the Celts, to the fires of Samhain,